you've been learning something new and your brain literally feels like it's been having a workout? Yeah, that's me right now after learning the whole basics of Premiere Pro last night and editing and putting out my first vlog with it in the same day. I'm a little tired this morning. Whew. All the butter coffee to save myself today. And today we're going to do what we were supposed to do yesterday before I ended up spending the whole last half of the day learning and figuring out Premiere Pro. But today we're going to look at the Ultraboost Parleys. Finally. I definitely don't know why it took me so long to switch over to Premiere Pro, but glad as heck that I finally did. I've been using Photoshop for years for all the graphic design and marketing for my companies and such. Basically had to teach myself how to use that from scratch. Thank you, internet and YouTube. Yeah, it just basically makes sense that, like, why wouldn't I be using the video software? Anyways, it feels really great to be in there and finally figuring everything out. It's just kind of figuring my way out around it now, figuring out all my little tricks and stuff that I was learning and figuring out in iMovie, which are like little things I wanted to see in my brain, transferring them over into the software. That's usually any of the big differences when switching over to a new workspace, whether it's in audio or video or even anything of the creative nature. So speaking of design, I gotta finalize a bunch of things today for the drop that's coming this weekend with Create Dreams. This Saturday, we're dropping the Dream Kanji collection, which is part of the Japan Season 2 collection. So hyped on this shit. I'll give you a little preview of that today once I finalize the last little bits. I've already given out a few little previews on Twitter. It's not just my brain that's sore today, my body's sore as well, which means we gotta get in a big workout today. So I'm gonna try to keep today clean, lots of greens, big old workout, lots of design work. Let's create more. Speaking of the old brain, I feel like it's always ever important to learn new skills on top of just ever trying to keep your brain sharp, which I think is actually part of the process. If you're just doing things that are keeping yourself comfortable and not stepping out of your comfort zone, then basically your brain just kind of finds yourself being able to push through the same ruts. It doesn't find anything new, doesn't come up with any new creative ideas, anything of that nature. So I always find that putting yourself into awkward, uncomfortable situations or things that are completely new to yourself generally end up benefiting you in the long run. Whether it seems like it at the time or not, things usually end up becoming beneficial. Whether it's just a learning experience from something negative that happened or something that just generally turns into a positive opportunity from said experience. So, I don't know. Always be open to learning new things and you'll generally have a better time and meet some interesting people because of it. I don't remember who said this at all, but there was this quote that always sticks with me, and essentially it's the fact that it takes about roughly 10 years to master a subject. The simple fact is that the average person lives about 70, 80 years. I mean, at least nowadays with our technology. But let's just say the average person lives about 70, 80 years. And I mean, you know, got the first 10 years just growing up, becoming a person. And you still got another 70 years or so. And if it takes about 10 years to master a subject, that means you can technically become a master of like half a dozen things or more within your lifetime. And that's usually, in my mind, what makes interesting people, is people who have an eclectic group of hobbies, things they're interested in, and are just ever open to new opportunities and ideas and ever searching for that feeling of learning something new again. Because as soon as you shut that off, I feel like the brain starts to die. So do yourself a favor and let's try to learn something new this month. For myself right now, it's Premiere Pro. And got a lot more to learn on a lot of other subjects, but I'm trying to get this whole video thing down on lock. It's something that I've ever always wanted to do, so if I can get this into a super awesome flow where it just becomes second nature, which it's kind of getting there. The filming portion of it is, I just need the editing to be there. Yeah, stoked as hell to create more content for y'all. Let's get it. I always promised myself that when I eventually got my own place, I would take the time to get back into playing guitar, as music used to be my life, which a bunch of you probably don't know. I used to play in bands for probably the first half of my life at least. played music for over 15 years and played in a multitude of bands, toured across Canada, have a solo project that I haven't released yet, which has always been on the back burner of things, and then I just kind of stopped playing because of my wrists. Yeah, it's something that meant a lot to me, but I basically dedicated the first portion of my life to just that, and then I kind of realized that, you know, there's some other things I should probably take care of. So I threw it on the back burner, and so like I was saying about it takes about 10 years or so to master something, I felt like I had like really gotten a good lock on playing music, writing, and generally wanted to see what else life actually had to offer rather than just putting myself into not necessarily a dead end, but just kind of pinpointing myself as this is the one thing that I do. So I basically had expanded from there, and that was when I pushed along into my entrepreneurial journey and basically was like, and then started up BC Plugs, and then I just got busy as heck with running businesses and companies and everything of that nature, and then switched over doing that full time. And yeah, so long story short, gonna get back to playing this whole thing. Gotta take it slow because of my wrists, but gonna listen to my body and do it properly, and most importantly, gonna restore this beast because this thing means a lot to me. First production 8-string that came out. This one was the first in BC, and I believe it was in the first like 100 off the production line. And just the materials that were put into the first run, just like they were really trying to prove their point. And I feel like I just got one that had some ace materials and like just had a certain life to it. Time to restore this boy and bring it back to life soon. Not today though, but a time to jam. And I used to pick really hard, and apparently I still wanted to. Shredded up my fingers, so we'll get that back in order, and hopefully I'll be able to put out some music again one day, because boy do I love creating some shit. Working way too hard to get all this stuff done. Had a big old meal, and then nap kind of took over, so let's get on with the rest of this day. Alright, went and grabbed some caffeine, had myself a little nap after working away for most of the day, and yeah, it's time to finally check out these Parleys. So stoked. I'm generally a massive advocate for naps, but they're usually only little 30-minute kind of guys. That one was a little bit longer, so let's try to make up for this lost time today. One thing that's extremely rad that I got finalized today is that we now have drawstring bags available at Create Dreams Clothing. Only got one design up for now, but we got a bunch of new ones coming this weekend, and yeah, those things are freaking awesome for taking all your stuff to the gym, or even just using it as like a little dust bag or something. One of these days I'll be able to find the energy that I need, but until then, caffeine is my best friend. I'm really excited to take a look at this, and it's been a long time since I got these. I ordered these, I think I actually got these before I moved, so like 3 months ago. And then I just got so busy with shit with the move and stuff that I literally pretty much forgot that I bought this pair, and it was like buried within my boxes. Then I was like, what the heck is that destroyed box? Oh yeah, because this box got destroyed during shipping. Honestly, I don't even know if it came in a box. It might have been shipped in a bag, so not 100%, but I know I'm not going to sell this pair, so doesn't really matter about the box on this one for me. Only reason I would ever really care about a box anyways, so to take a look at the box on this one. Just a just a bit banged up, yeah? I guess that's what you get when you don't double box ship shoes that you're shipping. Let's hop right into it. Got myself the Ultraboost Parley collab. This isn't a consortium collab, but I honestly feel this is one of the most important collabs of the year. It just really seems to mean a lot, and I absolutely love the initiative behind this one. The Ultraboost 3.0 Parley collab. This is super fire pair without even bringing into the mind the actual meaning behind it. So not only is this shoe a collab between Adidas and Parley, this colorway in particular is to help bring attention to the bleaching of the coral reefs in the oceans, and just generally try to bring some attention to that nature. I was fortunate enough to go to the Great Barrier Reefs in Australia when I was a kid, and knowing that that stuff's nearly all gone now is pretty heartbreaking. So they did this white colorway in particular to help bring attention to the coral bleaching crisis of the world that's going on right now. But this is a really important collab in my eyes, and I really appreciate what they're doing with this one. Adidas teamed up with the company Parley, which is an organization that is bringing awareness to the crazy amounts of plastic that are ending up in our oceans and just literally floating around like a goddamn island bigger than the size of Texas. So Adidas teamed up with Parley to create a yarn that they've mixed in with the PK on this upper, which has been intercepted and collected from coastal beaches before it's ended up in the ocean. So it's nice to see a company that's finally taking some form of initiative and taking that plastic before it ends up in the ocean and turning it into something which is not only helping in the long run of the problem, putting it into a retail item that people actually want to buy. I forget the numbers on how much they said that of these shoes that they plan on releasing, but it's in the millions for damn sure. And that alone mixed with how many bottles it takes to make each shoe is ridiculously awesome. Because essentially they say that it takes about 11 bottles worth of plastic goes into the yarn to make each Ultraboost. Now, if you're not sure just exactly how much plastic that is, so you can imagine that that's going to make a bit of a difference. When you get that many bottles times millions, ridiculously awesome to see somebody take an initiative like that. Enough about the collaboration. Let's show you a bit about this shoe. It's pretty much the standard 3.0 that we know, a bunch of nice new touches that from the collab. So the uppers itself is almost like a nice baby blue looking kind of thing. Straight up, who that rude dude rocking baby blue shoes? There's me. So the PK is this white mixed with like a baby blue mixed within it. So it makes the whole like upper almost look like baby blue, but yeah, I don't know. I love the overall look of that. I'm not a navy blue fan as far as colorways go for shoes or anything, but baby blue, yes please. And so they did something different for the cage on this as well. It's this like, I don't even know what that is. It's like a nylon kind of fabric, but I really like it. It's a solid white cage, which stands out a bit more on the shoe. But yeah, I really like the material that they used on this cage. It just like, I don't know, it feels a bit more luxe and it stands out on the shoe very nicely. And so they did something different with the fit counter on the heel this time. Rather than having a plastic cup, they used that same kind of like nylon material, and then they've straight up used that Parley thread to simulate the like waves in the ocean. It's got Adidas Parley, this little strap on the tongue, a bit more of a mesh vibe on the inside of the shoe, almost reminiscent of like what they did on the 1.0 stuff. Got that baby blue insole, completely whited out all continental rubber sole, including the torsion system. I think that looks ridiculously awesome. And solid white laces. Other than that, like I say, pretty much an Ultraboost 3.0, but with that Parley yarn mixed in and a few other little accents and stuff. You'll find out that the PK is a little bit stiffer than your standard 3.0, which is like known for having its really like stretchy PK, but that could just be because of the Parley yarn that is mixed within it, which I'm pretty sure is exactly why. I got these in a 12.5, so they still fit perfectly because the 3.0 generally fits a little bit larger, but I always try to go with a size 13, but I could only get these in a 12.5. So when it's something you knew you had to cop, you go with what works. And I mean, I can make 12.5 work perfectly, and these still work with the insoles in. I've still seen these available at some places, so you can probably still cop these at retail if you want. And actually, to be honest, the resale hasn't been too crazy on these, which is a good thing. So yeah, if you want a Superfly shoe, it helps save Mother Earth a little bit. Let's keep some of those plastics out of the ocean. What an awesome idea. I hope we can start to see more companies go along these lines of things as far as making products that know are going to sell on the market and using it in a way that's actually going to help in sustainable ways. So anyways, let's throw these on feet and I'll show you guys some detailed looks. that is gonna be it for me today. Big old work day. We got to take a look at those Parleys finally. Can't believe how long it took me to finally get those open, but super sick. Thank you guys as always for watching. Hit that like button if you enjoyed today's vlog. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know what kind of content you guys want to see, what kind of stuff you don't want to see, and yeah, subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you guys tomorrow. As always, find your passion, create dreams, and let's get it.